Jack was a simple man. He fixed old spaceships at a small repair station on a dusty planet called Zerna 4. Life was hard. Customers paid late. Supplies were low. But Jack never complained. He liked machines more than people. Machines didn't lie. One evening, as the sun was setting and the sky turned orange, a tall alien walked into his garage. The alien had gray skin, long arms, and small black eyes. His name was Krex. Jack had seen him before. Trouble always followed him. "You owe me 200 credits, Krex said, throwing a broken part on the table. Jack sighed. "I told you that engine was already cracked. I warned you before installing it." Krex smiled coldly. "Doesn't matter. You fix it, you pay. But I offer a deal." Jack frowned. "What kind of deal?" Krex clapped his hands, and a second alien entered. Behind him walked a girl in chains. Her skin was pale blue, her hair silver, and her eyes bright like stars. She looked tired but proud. Her clothes were torn, but she stood straight. "She is the payment," Krex said. "Take her. Debt gone." Jack's mouth dropped open. "A slave? No way. I don't do that. She's quiet, works hard. You need help," Krex said. "Take her or I take your tools." Jack looked at the girl. She didn't cry. She didn't beg. She just stared at him calmly. Something about her was strange. Not weak, not afraid. Jack sighed. "Fine, I'll take her. But she works free. No chains." Krex laughed. "As you wish." He dropped the keys and left. Jack unlocked her chains. She didn't say a word. She just followed him into the workshop. "You got a name?" Jack asked. Silence. He pointed to a corner. "You can sleep there. I don't have much, but it's clean." She nodded once. Still no words. That night, Jack couldn't sleep. Why did he take her? He hated slavery. He didn't trust Krex. But something in that girl's eyes told him this was no ordinary slave. The next morning, he woke up early. A surprise waited in the workshop. The broken engine? Fixed. Perfectly. Jack looked around. She was sitting in the corner, quietly watching. "How did you do that?" he asked. No answer. Just a small smile. He checked the wiring. It was better than his own work. Jack felt a chill. Who was she? That evening, he checked the metal collar she wore. It had a fake ID code. No slave mark. It was just a prop. Jack stepped back. "You're not a slave, are you?" Still no reply. But now Jack was sure. This girl was hiding something big, and he had just stepped into something way over his head. The days passed quietly, but nothing felt normal anymore. Jack kept watching the girl, and the girl kept watching everything else. She never spoke. Not even once. But her eyes noticed everything. When he worked on ships, she stood nearby and stared at the machines, almost like she understood them. Sometimes Jack would find his tools moved, placed in the right order, ready before he even asked. One morning, he walked into his workshop and stopped cold. The junk pile in the corner, a mess for weeks, was gone. Sorted, cleaned, and labeled. Old wires, circuits, power cells, everything stacked like a professional had done it. But he hadn't touched it. And he knew she didn't have permission. He looked at her. She was sitting cross-legged near the wall, hands on her knees, eyes closed. "Did you do this?" he asked. She didn't answer, didn't move, just opened her eyes slowly and looked at him. Jack didn't know what to say. She was strange. Quiet, calm, and far too smart for someone who was supposed to be a slave. Slaves didn't organize power cores by energy class. Slaves didn't sort tech by species origin. She had knowledge, real, deep knowledge. At night, Jack checked her collar again. The ID code blinked softly. He ran a scan with his handheld device. The result came back invalid. Fake serial. That confirmed it. She wasn't a slave. At least not in the way Krex claimed. She had no registration, no record. She was pretending. But why? And why would someone so smart allow herself to be captured? That night, Jack hid the collar under his workbench and left her a clean shirt and food. The next morning, both were gone. But she had left something behind. A small piece of alien tech shaped like a coin, glowing faintly. Jack had never seen anything like it. He didn't touch it. Not yet. 2 more days passed. One evening, during a power outage, the station lights went dark. Total silence. Jack lit a small lantern and moved toward the back room. He found her standing in the middle of the shop, eyes glowing softly, fingertips pressed to the main circuit board. Sparks danced across her skin, but she wasn't being electrocuted. She was controlling it. The lights came back on. Systems rebooted. She turned around slowly and looked at Jack. Her voice was soft and smooth, but powerful. "You need to leave this planet." Jack stepped back, heart pounding. "What? Why?" "They're coming," she said. "Not for you. For me." Then she walked away, silent again, like nothing happened. Jack didn't sleep that night. He couldn't. He had accepted a fake slave, discovered hidden knowledge, and now learned that someone or something was coming. And whoever they were dangerous. The next morning, 3 unmarked ships entered the planet's orbit. And Jack knew, whatever game he had been pulled into, it was only just beginning. The 3 ships in orbit didn't send a signal. They didn't land. They just waited. Jack stood outside his workshop, eyes locked on the sky. They looked like shadows, dark, sharp, and silent. Not like traders or patrols. These were hunters. He felt it in his gut. She stood behind him, her silver hair catching the morning light. Still calm, still quiet. "You said they're coming for you?" Jack muttered. "Who are they?" No answer. "Are they going to destroy this place?" Her voice came softly. "If they find me, yes." Jack turned to face her. "So tell me who you are." She looked at him for a long time. Her expression didn't change, but her eyes, those glowing, star-like eyes, seemed to soften. Then she said, "My name is Alara." That was it. Just a name. No title. No explanation. But Jack could feel the weight of it. That night, Jack couldn't stay still. He locked the doors, checked every alarm, and stared at the strange glowing coin she had left earlier. When he finally picked it up, the coin lit up and projected a small blue image in the air. Words in an alien language scrolled across it. He didn't understand them, but one symbol kept repeating. He checked his databanks. That symbol belonged to the royal family of Veltrax's galaxy. Jack dropped the coin like it was on fire. She wasn't just pretending to be someone else. She was royalty, a missing princess, Alara. He looked through old news reports. Years ago, a royal ship was attacked during a secret journey. The young princess aboard was declared dead, but her body was never found. Until now. That meant Krex either didn't know who she was, or worse, he did. And he sold her anyway. Jack walked to the workshop. Alara was sitting alone, repairing a broken circuit board like it was a puzzle. He placed the glowing coin beside her. "I know who you are." She looked up but didn't seem surprised. "Then you know why I can't stay. You need to run." "I tried. They chased me from system to system. I hid. I changed my name. Nothing worked. So I let them take me. I wore the collar. I played weak. Slaves disappear. No one follows them." "But you're not a slave," Jack said. "You're a queen in hiding." She shook her head. "A prisoner who ran. A crown I never wanted." Suddenly, the workshop lights flickered. Jack's communicator beeped. An incoming scan from orbit. Then, a warning, "Unauthorized surveillance detected." "They've found you," Jack said. "No," she said quietly. "They've found us." Alara stood, her hand glowing again. This time brighter. "They won't let me live." "You still can. Walk away." Jack stared at her, the silent girl who fixed machines, who glowed with energy, who pretended to be nothing but was everything. "I don't walk away," he said. "Not anymore." Outside, the first dropships began to land. Inside, a princess and a mechanic prepared for a fight neither of them fully understood. But they would face it together. The air outside cracked with energy. The sky, once calm, was now filled with the low hum of approaching engines. Dropships moved like vultures circling their prey, slow and silent, but deadly. Inside the workshop, Jack and Alara stood in silence. He held a small blaster, half-rusted, barely charged. She held nothing but the glow in her hands. "This isn't a war zone," Jack said, trying to stay calm. "We don't even have shields." "They don't need to fight," Alara replied. "They only need to take me." Her voice was steady, but her eyes flicked to the door every few seconds. She wasn't afraid. She was calculating. Jack could tell. The first ship landed just beyond the hill. Dust rose in the air. Black armored figures stepped out. Not soldiers. Not mercenaries. Hunters. Their helmets were blank. No marks, no flags. Just shadows with weapons. Jack moved quickly. He activated the shop's old defense system, weak lasers on the roof, a cheap force field on the door. Nothing that would hold for long. Maybe 10 minutes, 15 at most. "I have a hidden tunnel in the back," he told her. "It leads to the canyon. We can run." "They'll track us in seconds," Alara said. "There's only one way this ends." Jack stepped closer. "You're not giving up." "No. I'm going to make them run instead." She closed her eyes. The glow around her hands pulsed, brighter than before. The lights in the shop dimmed as if her energy was pulling from everything around. "What is that?" Jack whispered. "It's not a weapon," she said. "It's who I am." The door shook. The shield flickered. Outside, one of the hunters raised his arm and fired. The force field collapsed instantly. Jack fired his blaster once. Missed. The hunters returned fire. Sparks flew. Metal hissed. Panel exploded near Jack's head. Alara raised her hand. A wall of blue light burst from her palm and slammed into the hunters. They were thrown back like leaves in a storm. The air crackled with static. Jack's hair stood on end. Then silence. Smoke filled the doorway. Jack coughed. Alara stood tall, breathing heavily, her glow fading. That was not normal," Jack said. "No," she replied. "That was Veltraxian core energy. Only born royals can use it." Jack stared at her. "You're not just a princess. You're a living weapon." Alara looked tired. "And now they know I still have it." More ships were landing. Dozens. This wasn't a small capture mission anymore. This was a full-scale hunt. Jack ran to the back room and pulled open the tunnel hatch. "We have to go. Now." Alara followed, but not before placing her hand on the workshop wall. The machines inside flickered, came to life, and began overloading. "What did you just do?" Jack asked. "A gift. No one gets to take this place," she said. The two of them dropped into the tunnel just as the workshop exploded above. Fire lit the night sky. The sound was heard for miles. But in the darkness below, a mechanic and a princess were already running, not just from death, but toward a truth deeper than either had expected. And someone else was already watching them. The tunnel was cold and narrow. Every sound echoed: footsteps, breath, heartbeats. Jack moved fast, flashlight in hand, Alara right behind him. Dust clung to the walls. Pipes dripped. The air smelled like metal and old secrets. They didn't speak much. There was no time, but in the silence, Jack's mind was full. She had destroyed an entire squad of hunters without touching a weapon. She wasn't scared, not even when the sky filled with enemy ships. And now, walking beside him in this dark tunnel, she looked more alive than ever. They reached the end of the tunnel and pushed open a hidden panel that led out into the canyon. The night sky was wide above them, stars blinking like quiet eyes. But Jack noticed something strange. No ships in sight. He frowned. "They're gone." "No," Alara said. "They're searching from above now. They want me alive." She stepped forward, and her hand brushed a rock. Crumbled. "No, they don't just want me," she said slowly. "They need me." Jack sat on a rock, trying to understand. Why? Why go through all this trouble for one runaway princess? Alara didn't answer right away. She looked at the stars. "In my world," she began, "blood decides everything. The royal family controls not just politics, but power. Energy flows through us. We can link with machines, fuel cities, even power starships. If we allow it. Jack blinked. So you're a battery? Her face hardened. I'm a key. And in the wrong hands, a weapon. She looked at him. My father ruled with fear. My brother wanted to sell that power to our enemies. I refused. I was marked as a traitor. They tried to kill me. I escaped. Jack took a deep breath. So all of this started because you said no? She nodded. Jack shook his head. You were never a slave. You were never weak. You were hiding from your own family. Not hiding, she said softly. Waiting for someone who wouldn't sell me. Someone who'd see me as more than power. Jack looked at her for a long time. I don't know why that someone turned out to be me, he said honestly. Alara smiled for the first time. Because you didn't ask who I was. You asked if I was hungry. A low beep echoed from Jack's pocket. He pulled out his old communicator. A message flashed across the screen. Private signal. Code Royal 7X. Requesting meeting. Jack looked at her. She went pale. No one should have that code, she whispered. Not unless it's someone from inside the palace. Jack stood up. Then someone still loyal to you is alive. Alara's hand clenched. Or someone's setting a trap. The signal came with coordinates. An abandoned space station not far from Zerna 4. Jack looked at the map. We can reach it. If we leave now. Alara nodded. Then we go. But this time we don't run. We find the truth. Above them, in the sky, a ship moved dark, silent, watching. And far away, on a silver throne surrounded by shadows, someone smiled. She was still alive. And soon, she would return. The ship Jack had hidden in the mountains wasn't fast. But it was quiet. Small enough to avoid scanners. Strong enough to reach orbit if the winds were calm. That night, under the cover of dark clouds, he powered up the engines and looked across the cockpit. Alara was already strapped in, calm as always, her eyes scanning the coordinates again and again. The message had repeated itself every hour. Same code, same location. A ghost station drifting near the edge of a dead moon. No lights, no movement, just cold silence. Jack didn't trust it. Neither did she. But they both knew they had to go. The ship rose slowly, dust swirling below. As it pierced through the clouds, the stars came back into view. The planet shrank behind them. The ghost station appeared ahead. Long, broken, pieces floating around it like a shattered crown. Jack guided the ship closer. The station wasn't broadcasting anything. No signals, no life signs. Just the message. It's too quiet, Jack muttered. Alara nodded. That's what makes it real. If this were a trap, they'd be pretending it's safe. He docked the ship. The doors hissed open. Inside, the station was like a frozen grave. Lights flickered. Walls were cracked. But deep inside the main hall, they found someone waiting. An old man in Royal Guard armor stood near the central console. He didn't move, didn't speak, until Alara stepped forward. Captain Ven, she said softly. He looked up, his eyes filled with tears. My princess, he whispered. You're alive. Jack watched as the man dropped to one knee. I searched every system, Ven said. I followed every rumor, but I never stopped believing. Alara stepped closer. Her voice was steady. The court thinks I'm dead. My brother wears the crown now. Ven stood slowly. And he is preparing for war. A false treaty is being written. He plans to give your power, your gift, to the Empire of Kranos. Jack frowned. Why would he do that? To survive, Alara said. He fears losing the throne more than losing our people. Ven turned to Jack. She needs more than protection now. She needs allies. A hologram blinked to life above the console. Maps of nearby systems. Rebel fleets, silent supporters in hiding. Whispers of a resistance. They waited for a sign, Ven said. And now they have one. Jack leaned closer. You're saying we have a chance to fight back? Alara's eyes burned with new fire. No, I'm saying we take back the throne. They didn't rest that night. Plans were made. Messages were sent. Across the galaxy, old friends and hidden enemies saw the signal. Alara was alive, and she was coming home, but not everyone was pleased. In a cold, gold palace on Veltrax Prime, Alara's brother stared at the news with a twisted smile. "So she wants a war," he whispered. "Then let her have it." He turned to his advisor. "Release the hunters, and double the bounty. I want her brought back, breathing or not." Back on the ghost station, Jack placed a hand on Alara's shoulder. "You really think they'll follow you?" She looked him in the eye. "They won't follow me because I'm royal. They'll follow me because I never stopped being one of them." Jack smiled. "Then let's remind them who the real queen is." Engines fired. Fighters launched. Across the stars, war was waking up. And at the center of it all, a mechanic who never wanted to be a hero, and a princess who had been a prisoner, a slave, and now a symbol of rebellion. Together, they were about to light the galaxy on fire. The stars were no longer quiet. From the edge of Veltrax space to the dark moons of the Kranos Empire, something had shifted. The news had spread like fire. Alara, lost princess, dead heir, forgotten name, was alive. And not hiding anymore. She was leading a fleet. Not a big one. Not shiny or well-funded. But every ship carried those who remembered her. Mechanics, miners, smugglers, ex-soldiers, rebels, survivors, people who had once called her one of us. Jack stood on the bridge of the lead ship, the Nova Light, watching old engines rumble to life around them. His hands were shaking, but not from fear, from adrenaline, from the weight of it all. He had started this journey fixing broken ships. Now he was helping fix something much bigger. Alara entered the bridge. No crown, no royal robes, just a simple suit and a calm voice. "They're waiting near Veltrax Prime," she said. "My brother has already locked down the cities. The palace is protected by orbital cannons. No one gets in or out." Jack nodded. "Then we knock. Hard." She smiled. "You've changed. So have you." They jumped into hyperspace. When they came out, the stars around Veltrax Prime were full of ships. Royal fleets, sleek and sharp, blocked every path. A wall of steel. But Alara's fleet didn't stop. She opened a channel to all systems, public, private, royal. And she spoke. "I am Alara, daughter of King Vian, rightful heir to Veltrax. I was hunted, betrayed, and left to die. But I did not die. I lived. I saw the truth. I saw who suffers while others sit on thrones built on silence." She paused, her voice steady. "Today I return not to take power. I return to give it back. To my people, to those forgotten, to those who never had a voice. I return not as a queen, but as a flame." Silence. Then, one by one, screens began to shut off. Not from failure, from choice. Royal ships turned away. Some fled. Some powered down weapons. A few even joined her. Inside the palace, Alara's brother watched in rage. "Cowards," he hissed. "She speaks like a child, and they kneel?" He turned to flee, but he was too late. The rebels were already inside. Alara walked through the palace gates with Jack and Captain Ven at her side. No fighting. No blood. The people opened the doors for her. When she entered the throne room, her brother stood waiting, alone. He smiled bitterly. "So you came back. For revenge?" "No," she said. "For balance." She didn't strike him, didn't imprison him. She simply turned, faced the people now watching from every screen, and said, "This throne belongs to no one unless it serves everyone." And with that, she sat. Not on the throne, but beside it. The world changed that day. Jack was offered riches, titles, anything he wanted. He chose to go back to his workshop. But this time, he didn't go alone. Alara visited often, not as a ruler, but as a friend. Sometimes she'd help fix ships. Sometimes she'd just sit quietly and watch the stars. One day, Jack looked at her and said, "You ever miss it? The palace? The crown?" She smiled. "Sometimes. But this is freedom." And high above, In a sky once filled with war, peace held steady, for the first time in a long time, because one man accepted a slave as payment, and found a queen,